Thanks Rob for inviting me to do this video abstract for you on our recent case report on the effectiveness of repeated sprint training to enhance international rugby league player fitness and performance. In short, this was a case study used for my recent BASES accreditation and showed how a simple repeated sprint training intervention can enhance player fitness and performance in rugby league matches. So the primary aim of the case study was this here. So the aim of the case report was to explore and present the effectiveness of implementing a short 2-week repeated sprint intervention to enhance the discrete physical fitness and match play characteristics during the leading phase to a major international rugby league tournament, which was the Four Nations contested by Australia, New Zealand, Scotland and England. So our athlete was a male international semi-professional rugby league player who wanted some additional training to run concurrently with his part-time club training, so that he could feel better prepared going into the tournament, competing with some of Southern Hemisphere counterparts. So what we did was to take a few pre-measures, physical fitness measures, were a vertical counter movement jump, 505 agility, some linear sprint speeds, and we also took some basic anthropometric characteristics. In addition to the field tests, we also had the player do a VO2 max test. So during the VO2 max test, we took down obviously his actual VO2 max, but also more particularly for us, the speeds achieved at VO2 max and ventilatory threshold 2. These served as kind of anchors for the individualized speed thresholds that we're going to use for his GPS metrics. And what else we did was to take the speed achieved during the maximal sprint speed test and then minus the maximal aerobic speed he achieved during the max test, and this gave us an estimation of his anaerobic speed reserved. And we use these thresholds for the GPS metrics, and here they are listed here, and that's what we used as a more of an individualized approach for monitoring our player for GPS. We then use these metrics and monitored our player for six games pre and 5 games post the repeated sprint training, and obviously only took in full games, and we used the Catapult Minimax S4 unit. So once we'd done our pre-test, the player did a 2 weeks repeated sprint training, and this was adapted from Taylor's paper, which is cited at the end of the presentation. And our player completed 3 sessions per week that consisted of 3 and 4 sets on week 1 and week 2 of 7 times 30 meter time sprints with 30 seconds recovery in between, of which we took down his mean sprint time for each set, took a session RPA, and we also had him wearing one of the GPS units with a MEMS device to take down his player load. As you can see here, this is the training data depicted in the figure 1. You can see that the training load of the player was progressively and undulating, and as the sprint speed, the mean sprint speed for each set was undulating and decreasing. So the results showed that there was possible increases across for all the fitness characteristics, which was promising. However, possible is the equivalent of a 50-50 possible chance. But however, more encouragingly, there was likely increases in total high speed running and total relative high intensity running as well for the first half of performance. But obviously as these increased, it also increased the relative player load. So the repeated sprint training intervention used here was shown to be time efficient and showed that it was possibly capable of improving physical fitness and match play performance characteristics. Those interested in taking an individualised approach to GPS monitoring should also check out the paper by Dawn Scott and Rick Lovell, and also be considerate of the single case nature of this report and the nature of the reliability data used for the magnitude-based inference approach, which is displayed in Table 1. If you're interested in the repeated sprint training intervention used here, please do check out Johnny Taylor's paper cited here, and if you want to catch up with any discussions, please catch me on Twitter at Chris P. Tolson. Thanks for listening. Cheers.